Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Livin The Dream video podcast, where we highlight the great accomplishments of graduates of the Dan Patrick School of Sportscasting. And trust me, many of them are all over the country and world doing great things, including my guest today. I'm Rishi Barran with the Dan Patrick School, and I am blessed and happy to have one of the more colorful personalities and one of the best people, human beings, that we've had come through our program here on episode number 51, the Ken Norton Jr. edition for a Cowboys fan. We've got Mr. Holton Pepper. Holton, I know you're at your mom's house, just celebrated her birthday. Thank you for making time to be here with us today.
Oh man, it's my pleasure. Thank you so much. What a wonderful intro, man. Wow, what a crazy intro. Man, I'm just so pumped to be here. So proud to be part of the school, so proud to be back, and so great to see you again, Rishi. Really, it really is. It really is.
Yeah, even when we are in different parts of the country, I'm in Florida right now, Holton is in Texas, and even being in different parts of the country, just seeing that smile and that energy that's coming forth from him today, it feels like we're back in the classroom, back on his last day at the Dan Patrick School. And I couldn't be happier for all the success that he's had so far in his career. Fortunately for him, he got a job close to where he grew up. He's in Beaumont, Texas at KBMT News 12 there. Or 12 News, I should say. I don't want to get that wrong. Accuracy is everything, Holton. And he's also part of the 409 Sports Blitz, talking some Texas high school football. I don't know how it gets any better than that. We'll dive into all that, do a little film breakdown of some feature stories that, or at least one feature story that Pep was involved in. But let's go back to, Eastern Texas, where you grew up, and get to the root of these things, Holton. Where did the dream of becoming a sportscaster start for you?
It actually started really late, if you can believe that. This never was in my plan of wanting to do this very early on. I was actually wanting to pursue, I don't know how many people I told this when I was enrolled at Full Sail, but sportscasting didn't really come across my mind until maybe junior year, or senior year of high school, and pursuing that. Before that, well before that, I had always had a dream of becoming a marine biologist. So much different route of a career going forth, had I have chosen that, and never probably would have even sniffed going to Orlando, Florida. I would have been in Florida for marine biology. That seems like a pretty good spot for that. But yeah, just a crazy different route for that. But junior year is when I discovered that was kind of really what I wanted to do. Because I noticed two things. One, I am annoying my family every time I talk about sports because how much I talk about sports, and I love doing it. And two, I love sports, but I'm not great enough at them that I'm probably not going to make it in college or in the pros. So let me just stick to this route and talk about it. That way I can feel as close as I can. And my family was very okay with that because it ships me 14 hours away, and they don't have to hear me yap all the time. Instead, I got to annoy you guys for 2 years or so.
And now you get to annoy everybody in Beaumont. So congratulations, Beaumont.
Right.
You get Pep every single night that he's working. Marine biology, that is a new one on this show. It brings me back. You're a young man, so I don't know how much Seinfeld you watched back in the day, but George Costanza always wanted to be a marine biologist, and there's a whole hilarious episode that does involve sports. It involves a golf ball in it that goes into that. But how come marine biology to start when you were young?
I think it was an infatuation with just the unknown. I think as a kid that's really what I was chasing, and I think that's where the stem of the root of what my love for sports comes from is that there's a lot of unknowns in all these different games that you play in, and with the unknown in marine biology, is we know more about space than we do our own oceans, which is a crazy thing to say, and that intrigued me heavily. Like I was very very interested in that, and wanted to pursue something that not only could better a career for myself, but kind of help humanity in a way, help kind of discover some things. And growing up as a kid, like the ocean always really gripped me. And just how it's so crazy to me that there is a whole other planet under the water. On this planet, there's a whole other species of fish and animals, and the way they do things, it's just completely different. And it's always like, dude, if somebody's watching a Nat Geo Wild show when I'm coming into the house or something like that, I'm sitting down and I'm watching. That what nature is just so interesting. That's the reason I'm wearing Arctic camo today. Like we go hunting in December. So I've been a big hunter. I've been hunting since I was like 5 years old. Fish with my dad when I can, and it's I just love the outdoors. And so with that aspect of it, getting to do some of the things in sports is fun too because you get to go dive deep into some of those things. But yeah, man, marine biology was I realized that there might be a lot more school involved if I go that route, like a lot more school, and it was going to be pretty tough too because there are some crazy classes that you'd have to take to pursue marine biology, and it never really gripped me, which is kind of weird to say, even though I just led you up to this whole point of saying, yeah, I loved it, I loved it, I loved it, and then when it came time to really try and find a university to pursue that dream in. It never really clicked. It never really got me to where I needed it to be. I never felt a real pull. And then I got the idea well, I'll tell you what it was. It was y'all's marketing team because it popped up on my Instagram or something, the Dan Patrick School of Sportscasting. And then it's Dan Patrick saying it's like, we're doing things different around here, and it's like, all right, I don't know what this is, but I'm gonna look into this. And saw Gus and saw you, and I kind of read through everything and saw some of the previous graduates that had been through the program and what they're doing now. And I'm like, dude, you mean to tell me I can pursue a program and pursue a career where talking on the sidelines at the national championship, the Super Bowl, any local high school football game, which would be incredible here if I got that job, and just stuff like that. I'm like, that I can do that as a job. And it's like, you know what? I think that's what I want to do. And then of course telling my mom that I was not going to be attending Texas A&M Corpus Christi or whatever I was going to do, and instead I was going to go to Orlando, Florida. Yeah, she wasn't too happy about that, but it all worked out in the end. It's all good. Man, I'm so happy I made that decision.
We're happy you are too. And you are a one of a kind guy, and Texas is a one of a kind state. What was it like growing up in East Texas and molding who you became today through those experiences?
Growing up in the church, I think that was a big aspect of it as well. My uncle is now a pastor, and I think the church just surpassed 10 years, which is crazy.
Wow.
And I think he was telling us at dinner last night, this last Sunday, they had 23 more people join the church. I mean, it's growing at an exponential rate, and it is exploding, and it's awesome to see. And my mom is I give a lot of credit to my mom because she helped kind of guide me in faith at a very early age. And then my grandparents, of course, and my dad as well. And then growing up in that family though, my dad was big time into sports. As soon as I came into this world, he was already a coach. He was coaching baseball, he's coaching football, mostly baseball. Immediately I was like thrusted into the world of sports. And another word I like to use is indoctrinated because sometimes I have to look back and go, why in the world did you have me do this? Because the teams I watch, they break my heart every Sunday. Like, why did you do this to me? But my grandfather has been a Cowboys fan, since their inception. And he saw the glorious Cowboys. He saw Roger Staubach, and my dad and my uncle saw Troy Aikman. My dad loved Roger as well. And, so there was like this aura of sports that I was always around. Part of the family traditions that we would do would always include watching sports. So at a very early age, I was thrusted into that world. And but I learned a lot growing up in East Texas as far as how to respect people. Obviously, it's the friendship state. That's what we do. It's what we do here. And we talk about being friendly and loving people and loving one another. And it's a great place to raise a family. It's a great place to live. Carlos Rosado can tell you that now that he's in Abilene. When I moved to Florida, they used to always kind of, how we do. We always pick on each other and make fun of each other. It's what we do. And I was the butt end of a joke a lot because I'm the Texan, whatever else, and they mess with me. And but then Carlos came to Texas, and Ian is working in Fort Worth. And Carlos, many times that I've spoken to him, he's like, dude, Texas is awesome. I'm like, dude, I tried to tell you. I tried to tell you this place is awesome. This place is just so great. We got it all. We got everything you could ever want. I will say, if there's anything I could say that growing up here and then moving to Florida, that one of the biggest aspect changes that I had, um, dude, the food. I was so heartbroken when I
Mm.
moved from Texas to Florida. Like there were just not as many things that I could have and have access to in Florida as I could. in Texas. But I learned a lot of things about family as well, and togetherness. So, and learned really quickly because my dad, he had a career in the education system. So he started out with coaching, but he worked his way into teaching, and then from teaching became a principal. And now for the last couple years or so, he has been the superintendent. So he has
Wow.
really worked his way up the board. Always been in a place of leadership, so I've always learned how I watched my dad for many years go and do things in a public setting and know how to shake somebody's hand, know how to network, know how to, be a friend to someone you've never known. And the coin term that we use in our family is like making friends everywhere you go, and that's what my dad does, and that's what I do. So people get annoyed that we'll be in an elevator and I just can't help but talk to the person that I don't know in the elevator. So when it came time to make a decision for a career, not only was I already so well deep rooted in sports, but now I got this background in knowing how to respect people, how to love on people you don't know, and how to make connections, how to network. And I'm like, the two of those things, knowing how to do the two of those things first off is a great thing to have going to this program. But yeah, East Texas is they say West Texas is best Texas. That's not true at all. East Texas is the place, man. It's a beautiful place. If anyone ever has a chance to come to Texas, you should do it. It is a fantastic state, but more specifically, East Texas. There is just a homey feel about East Texas. It's phenomenal. I love it.
You ever seen the film Bernie with Jack Black?
Um, I don't think I have.
So as a Texan, it might be funny. There's one part in it where there's this like older gentleman and he goes through each part of Texas and what it means. It's kind of like, very stereotypical part of it, but I think you would
Oh yeah.
enjoy that scene if nothing else. It's actually a really great film. And that's a big part in your blood, but you referred to a couple other things that I know are dear to your heart. Faith and family. How have those two aspects of your life shaped who you've become as now you're working in sports in Beaumont?
Absolutely. I'm nothing without those two things. I think because you first of all, your identity, if it's not rooted in Jesus Christ, you don't have where you don't you're not where you need to be, first of all. And I'm saying that as someone who is not a perfect man. I make mistakes every single day, and I make mistakes in the industry, and I don't meet the standard a lot of the times. I don't meet the standard. But that's what's amazing about Jesus is that um his grace exceeds all, and there is not a level of distance that you can create that he will not somehow get you back and call you back, leaving the 99 to come find you. And it's a beautiful thing. And when you truly experience that for yourself, that's when you get to chase a true relationship in that avenue. Um, and then family, of course, that comes second. Obviously, faith comes first, and then family comes second. But without a good support system, none of this is possible. If you don't have a family who loves you and feeds into you, and I'm not talking financially, I'm talking, through love and appreciation and through passion and genuinely there for you and caring for you. If you don't have those things, you're not going to be able to do the things that you do. Not saying that you can, you certainly could. There are people out here that are probably stronger than me that would be able to do that. I wouldn't be able to. My family means everything to me, and they have been there since day one. They were full support of the marine biology part if I wanted to do that. And then when I changed my mind and went into sports, I said, "Oh, actually, that's better. You should do that. You should totally go do that. That's straight up your alley." And without those two things, I wouldn't be where I'm at. And to say that I would be here through my own doing is just wrong. Um, my Lord, my God, Jesus has completely revolutionized where I've been, where I've come from, who I am now, and has brought me through times where it seemed like there was no path, and it's very confusing. But it's amazing time and time again how many times I've been proven wrong on my own sentiment of wondering if I'm gonna make it. And then God's like, if you would have just listened to me and if you would have just trusted me, you dummy, I had it all planned. I had it all set out. You just got to relax and you just got to do what you got to do. So that's how I live. That's how I go about my days. I just do what I have to do to keep the main thing, go about my day, and thanking God every step of the way, because man, it's a beautiful ride and I cannot wait to, if this is only 2 years into the industry, I can't imagine what 15 into the industry is going to look like. I can't, three even, just, I don't know what the next year is going to look like. It's just so much fun. It really is.
That's Holton Pepper. Some call him Pep, some call him Sweet Boy. I'm sure he's got a lot of other
It's
nicknames
true.
that I don't know about, but right now he's an anchor reporter in Beaumont, Texas. And I understand you were a high school athlete, a little baseball, which I know is dear to your heart also, and a little football. What was your athletic career like as a Texas high school athlete?
Oh man. I had hey, that's really kind of where you build your true friendships, right in the locker room. That's where you start to learn what it takes to be a part of a team, working as a team. It's the ultimate team aspect is being on a team in a sports atmosphere. And so I played baseball. Been playing baseball since before I could talk. That's like my dad brought me into this when I was young, and been playing baseball with a giant plastic bat with a giant ball off a tee, swinging it and running in my diapers down the road. Like that's what I've been doing baseball since a very early age. And football, always loved football, loved watching it, loved being a part of it. Never had a really chance to play it until I got to high school. So that part was kind of crazy. You going from no experience of playing football, and then just joining the high school junior varsity team in your freshman year and doing that it can be a challenge. And it was, especially moving from one school to another. Didn't know any my freshman year of school. That was my first year at my high school, and I didn't know anybody. So I had to meet everybody in an atmosphere where I don't know the sport. I never played it before. I'm here. I don't know anybody. And now I just have to make friends and stand out somehow. You got to do those things. And I think that was a huge step in who I am and in the career path that I chose. But baseball has always been there for me. Baseball has always been near and dear to my heart. And I played baseball all 4 years of high school. I was on varsity at least all 4 years of high school. And should have been, you can check the record books. I should have been first team all district in my senior year, but I got second team, and that's never gonna go away. That's like the championship that you let slip through your fingers, man. It's just aggravating. Because I had so much fun that year, but that my senior year of high school playing baseball, if anyone ever gave me a chance to go back and do anything ever again, it would be just to play my senior year of high school. The relationships I had and that just you can't be beat. And it just felt like a surreal time being a part of that and chasing history. We won our first playoff series as a program, and it was easy. It was easy. Like we did it easily, and our team was just we were that good. We were that good, and we could have gone further, but we ran into a pretty good team in the second round, and we ended up. It was a 3-game series. We won the first game, lost the second game, and here we are in the third game. We were up 9-3, Rishi. We were up 9-3, and we blew it. And it was the most heart-shattering loss. And that was the end of my baseball career. That was where it ended on that field, up 9-3, thinking you're going to the third round.
Sometimes the biggest lessons come in the hard times, and you find out who you are and you move forward. And then you came to us. What were your first impressions when you got on campus?
Um, I honestly like that first day. It was orientation day, and the first impression that I had uh, was like I didn't meet anybody from the sportscasting program. Like everyone was, oh, I'm doing film, oh, I'm doing this, and I was like, well, okay. I mean, I'll make some friends, and then we'll go from there. I'm sure I'll see the sportscasting kids at some point. Um, and no, but there was one that I met, and we're in the orientation, and there was this guy sitting about 4 rows back from where I was and trying to be the class clown or whatever is what I would probably try to categorize him as. He's sitting up there in his Derek Jeter New York Yankees jersey with his hair spiked up and his sunglasses on with his gallon jug of water, and he's hooping and hollering. And and I go up there to talk to him, and I go, "Hey man, that's a sick jersey, Jeter." He's like, "Yeah, yeah, but yeah." And I was like, "Oh yeah, that's cool." I was like, "Hey, I'm Holton." He goes, "I'm Carlos." "Yeah, man, nice to meet you." Yeah. And anybody that knows anything about this program, I'm sure they know about Carlos Rosado, man. That guy is one of the most creative and intuitive people that ever come through this program that I've ever met. He is a waiting star. I mean, we're just waiting for the day that he gets that call, because someone is going to find the creativity that this guy has comes up with, and he is going to go wherever he wants to go. He's killing it in Abilene. But that was my first impression, was meeting Carlos freaking Rosado. at the orientation, and that was the first dude that we're talking sportscasting stuff in the parking lot, just me and him, and out of the blue, we hear like three other people say sportscasting, and I was like, "Oh, sportscasting," and they're like, "Yeah, yeah." And they walked over, and it was Dwayne, and then it was Will O'Connor, and it was Tyler Purdom that had walked over, and we that was like the core five to begin with. And from there, that's where the group chat started. And then the rest of the class, as we met the rest of the class, they joined the group chat, which is still kicking today. We have a giant dynasty fantasy football league that we're in. So we're all still stay way connected, and we're always talking every day about all these kinds of things. And those guys, man, those relationships I made with those dudes, oh man, another one of those things I'd give anything to go back to because they just is an incredible time, but it made it even more special with the people that I was with for sure. But dude, Carlos right out the gate, that was fun. That was really fun. And I met Carlos. Like there is no facade with this guy. That is just who he is. He's the outspoken, goofy guy, gonna do what he wants, unashamed. Oh my goodness, if there's a word you could describe him as unashamed. And that I think is what was the tone setter for the whole program, and really kind of inspired the rest of us to kind of get out of our shell and get out of our bubble a little bit. And then we made some great projects. We made some great TV at Full Sail. It was fun.
Yeah, we'll get into some of the final ones in your final month in a little bit, but biggest class, graduating class that we had, and lots of different personalities within it. Obviously, much like Carlos, your personality speaks for itself, but how did you find your place within that group?
It was really easy because the guys kind of made it a point that I was that sweet boy, the Texan, the whatever. And every time that they would say my name, and I don't. It was Jackson Faulkner that started it. He's from Long Island, and the guy's a character. He's so much fun, and he's the one that started that sweet boy thing. So whenever we usually went to his every Sunday when we would either have class and get through with it and be done with it, or if we didn't have class on Sundays, we were at Faulkner's apartment every Sunday watching Red Zone from kickoff to the end of Red Zone. We were watching NFL all day long, catching up on the games, and then we'd all, play whatever, man. We always were spending time together outside of school, and that was one of them. But at some point, sitting there, Faulkner had said he just was hysterical, and then they had this running joke where he's pretending to be, I guess, either a lover of mine or a grandmother of mine, and he said he was like, "Sweet boy, come back to me, Holton Pepper," and he did it, and then everyone just glued to it. It was like, yeah, it was the duck to a water, man. It was perfect, and it stuck from that point forward. Every time that we do class, they could not wait for the instructor to go, "Okay, we're going to go around. We're going to have everybody introduce themselves," because everyone knew when I go up there and I go, "Hi, my name is Holton Pepper. I'm from Texas." The whole room erupts and they go, "Sweet boy." And it's just, I don't know. It was crazy. So I'd come home, I'd fly home for the holidays and stuff. And I'd tell people and I'd go, "Yeah, I'm having a great time. It's fun. I have a nickname." And they go, "Oh, really?" And I go, "Yeah, I'm the sweetest boy." And they go, "What?" I go, "Yeah, I'm the sweetest boy. That's what they call me."
And that's
It
one way
was,
to make
it
an
was
impact,
great.
right? Is to get that nickname. But I think really the content everybody wants to know here today, the reason everybody came to watch this episode is we want the origins of the Holton Pepper sweet boy look, the mustache, the hair. How did you become that version of yourself where you're someone who's noticeable when you walk into the room?
Yeah, it has definitely become a look for Southeast Texas once I got into Beaumont, obviously. But when I came to Florida, I mean, you couldn't like, gee, let me look around this room full of characters and figure out where the Texan is. Like the guy's wearing, he's probably wearing boots or something at some point, or something Rangers, something Longhorns, something Cowboys. He's got a mullet, a mustache, and he drives a giant red pickup truck with a Texas Ranger sticker on the back. I wonder which one the Texan is. Like just glaring, you know. Um, it was the look was I think it just kind of happened. Like I don't one day I was like I kind of want to try the mullet thing, and it takes, let me tell you something. You can't just choose to do the mullet. You have to evolve with the mullet. You cannot just choose. looking back at some of the videos and stuff and the pictures that I did at Full Sail, I'm like, oh my God, that's too much. That's way too much, man. That is way too much. You got to tone it down. I know it speaks volumes, but like it's sometimes it's like, dude, you got to at least take a couple inches off the back, man. Like I was dang near touching my shoulder blades. Like it was ridiculous. But over time, you start to realize that maybe your hair is a little too straight. So I have to. This is where that embarrassing part comes into play. But I do actually get my hair permed in the back to give that curl. And to do that, and it works. It looks good on TV. It does. It looks great down there in Southeast Texas.
Yeah, Holton, I think what was really fun for us as instructors was seeing that we've got someone with great potential. You have an it factor to you, and you also had an excellent attitude and a really good work ethic. What we were pushing you on was details. And that's where I saw you grow during your time with us, and certainly since you graduated. How were you able to fine tune the details each month and just continue to get better and better?
Um, I'm gonna definitely gonna give the credit there to you guys for sure. There you have a lot of when you have that kind of aspect. I'm kind of working with somebody at work right now who is someone who has the potential. He has pursued a sportscasting degree in some sort of degree in that atmosphere, and I think when you locate talent like that, when you're trying to, you can see the untapped talent, you have to find ways to appeal and get the best out of that quality as much as you can. And I think some of the things that were said to me through y'all's teaching throughout the months and stuff, really like some of the things may not have stuck as much, but you take bits and pieces. It's kind of funny how that happens, but you take bits and pieces from the different things you learn to build your brand, to build who you are. And then you eventually take all those teachings and try to apply them to what you're doing. So, man, like when you guys talk about how you really there are certain things that you just don't, you're setting yourself up for success, and the things that you guys teach, and how it really can help you prepare yourself for your first job in the industry. It is the most industry driven career or industry driven degree that you could chase, with what you guys provide, because I think what you guys taught from the very get-go, I always explain to people when I talk about Full Sail is, how powerful, the classes were and how impactful they were. But it's not because it's just some dude up front telling you how it is. These people lived it. You lived it. Gus lived it. Like you guys lived this and you did this for many, many years. Um, and so you have a background in doing this, but you've done it, and you can show us. You can see it. We can physically see your work that you've done over the years and how it has applied to where you are now. And you're always willing to learn. I think that's the biggest aspect of it too, is always being willing to learn. So try something new, do something in the classes, right? And always try to be tested, and you're in college, right? So do the things that may or may not work, and then let the instructors tell you, hey, love the idea. Let me try and fine tune it for you. That way you can still keep your creativity and still have it look like a real broadcast and stay true to what you're trying to do. Gets the message across while also still bringing your quality to the broadcast. And that was key. That was so key. Uh, I know it's a long ways away for most of the students, but and all of the classes beforehand are absolutely necessary. But PNP 6 and PNP 7 were obviously stick with you the most because you're just constantly building these shows and building who you are, building your brand. And man, that was huge. Being in those two classes, especially PNP 6, getting to really test the waters of creativity and be as openly and wildly as creative as you wanted to be, and then going into PNP 7 with you and taking that creativity and now, okay, now we're going to tone this thing down and really get it to where it's supposed to be. And I learned that even in a sport that you don't know as much, it's obviously the fake it till you make it thing. That's kind of how it goes. But you learn. You if you don't know it, you go learn it. You go study it. You go try and pursue this thing and learn this thing for yourself. My thing was basketball. So in some of these classes, really I did this on purpose. Some of these classes I took where we would have to have at least 2 highlight reads in our project and stuff like that, I would put basketball in there. I would force myself to do basketball because actually Gus had called me a couple weeks ago. We had a conversation. He was just checking in, seeing how I was doing, and I told him, uh, he's like, yeah, man, how have you liked it down there? How are you doing? And I'm like, man, I'll tell you what, if I could take one thing away from Dan Patrick, I can take the school. It's going to be reps, and that is something that they told you. You guys told us day one. We were in that orientation and looking at the studio. Wow, look at this! Is so cool. And Gus is like, look, drop the controller, quit playing Madden, and get some reps, and go do the reps. And that no truer words have ever been said. I don't remember a whole lot from those first few months, but my goodness, I remember that. The reps, reps, reps. That is how you get better. That's how you build your craft. It's how you build confidence. Reps is how it happens. That is where you make your money. And that was the biggest thing for me, was just doing it. And so at home, um, the reps for me was putting my camera in front of me. And I used to do these little YouTube videos that are still up. And I would do these little YouTube videos to just talk about the teams I love. And I'd go edit them, and make it look funny and talk about the stats, talk about what's happened, talk about what's coming forward, and in more of a podcast setting, kind of like how we're doing now. But reps, man, that was how it got done, was getting out there, knowing what you want to do, and then doing it, really doing it every single day in some sort of capacity and building who you are. That was the biggest key.
You got all that experience on camera, but what you came to learn when you took this job was shooting, editing, and production is also a big part of your job when you're working every day as an on-air person, especially in the smaller markets. And I know you had 2 internships that really helped you solidify that. One was with Florida Travel Baseball, where you're creating highlight reels for teams. Some of them had top 10 MLB draft picks. Take us through that experience, how it came together, and how it helped you.
One day, I think I don't know if he's still working there at Full Sail, but he's one of the I think he helps with signing up kids to go to these programs. He's working with the front office. It's kind of his thing. But his good friend is George. His name is George, and he's like the head guy for FTB or whatever. And he was looking for videographers, and he just strolled over to the sportscasting guys and found a group of us standing there and said, "Hey, y'all want to make some money and shoot some baseball?" And I was like, "Yeah, that sounds freaking awesome. Like let's do it." And going out there, and just the first day being out there with FTB, these are prospects. So these are uh I want to say probably about 15, 16, 17-year-old kids out here playing baseball at a very high level. And on the first day out there, Dante Bichette, who he played a long time with the Colorado Rockies, was out there, teaching these kids because his boys went through this program. So Bo Bichette, the almost World Series champion with the Toronto Blue Jays, he was out there with these guys. A lot of names have come through. And just to paint a picture, to give you, for instance, of how incredible it is to be a part of something as special as FTB, and to do that, be a part of that family, and be a part of those kids, and do those things. Um, at one point, if you follow baseball at all, you'll know these names. But at one point, they had Addison Russell, Carlos Correa, Francisco Lindor, and Javier Baez on the same team. Now, here's the catch: they cut one of those guys. Can you guess which one of those that they cut?
You're asking me?
I'm asking you. What do you think? Who do you think they cut of those four?
So it was Lindor, it was Addison Russell, it was Correa, and who was the fourth one?
Baez,
Oh,
Javier Baez.
I guess I got to go with Addison Russell.
They cut Carlos Correa.
Wow,
Yeah, that's how elite this thing is. That's how
man.
serious this thing is. And
Oh,
Carlos Correa, mind you, ends up being the number one overall pick in the MLB draft. So they know a thing or two about talent. They know a thing or two about prospects. Just so many guys have come through that program that are now top prospects in Major League Baseball and/or bona fide stars in Major League Baseball. And just being a part of that and seeing the prospects that are coming through this program, filming them, and then saying, "Hey, you're probably taking film right now at an early age of a kid who might be the go down as a retired jersey for the Boston Red Sox someday, or the Washington Nationals. And just so many crazy things like that. But just going across different parts of Florida as well. We'd go to Kissimmee. We would go to Northeast Florida over there with I think it was, where was it? What was it called? Jupiter, over there in Jupiter with the Astros minor league, not minor league, the Astros spring training facility. I got to shoot video of these kids playing baseball from the dugout of the Astros spring training field. And like, that's, you don't, who that, I did that in college. Some kids in college say, yeah, I got to travel a little ways and I got to do this, that, or whatever. Like some cool, I got to freaking film from the Astros. It's incredible, man. Some of the things that I got to do through FTB. And it was a paid internship, which was awesome because it really helped with college finances and stuff too. But man, if I could, man, George, I believe his last name is Gonzalez. I want to say it's George Gonzalez. Could be wrong about that. Don't quote me, but I haven't spoken to him in so long. But he is just, man, is a great human being. And then it turned into I scratch your back, you scratch mine kind of thing. I was one of his videographers for his lower teams, for his 15U and his 16U teams, which was awesome because on that team I think Manny Ramirez's son was on that team, and the kid can play ball. The kid can play ball, and he was just in Arizona this past couple months with the prospect thing in Arizona and hitting nukes. Kid is legit, and I'm there filming this kid playing baseball at an elite level at the age of 15, I think it was. Just crazy. But George, man, I give a lot of credit to him as well. So much credit to George. Really helped me, kind of helped that aspect of it too, but helped me with the networking part of it. I mean, he really kind of dove off into that as well. But the scratch your back, I scratch mine part came in PNP4 when we had to create a package for the first time. And so I was like, you know what? I have gold right here. I'm working for this program that pumps out Division 1 talent, pro talent all the time. And I am buddied up with the main dude who runs this show. So combine the two, interview that guy, interview one of the coaches that I'm with every weekend, and then have all the film that I already shot. Like it doesn't get any easier than this. Just do this. You have it, and put all the pieces together. And it created my first official package, and it was so cool. I loved getting to do that as well. Just putting that together and putting that out there. Obviously, we made two packages at the program. You make your first one in PNP4, and then I made another one in PNP7, I believe it was.
Yeah, let's
And
lead
that,
into that right now because that one was
yeah,
on your other big internship, Foul Territory. And I feel like you were one of
yeah.
the original interns from our programs over there that
Well,
worked with them. And that's with AJ Pierzynski and the rest of the crew there. You're talking big league players, you're talking big league baseball, and you were learned about a lot about production as well. What was that experience like?
huge. It teaches you to appreciate production. That's what it does. It really does. People talk about being in front of the camera and doing things like that, and it's great being in front of the camera. But you're not going to look as good in front of the camera if you're not making friends with who's behind the camera. They control how you look, how you sound, everything. And they are working just as hard, if not harder, than the person in front of the camera. There are so many moving pieces behind the scenes, and you have to give your love and credit. My coworkers at 12 News. Behind the scenes are my friends at the station. The on-air people I'm friends with, but behind the scenes are who I'm really friends with. They're the people I physically go outside of work and hang out with and go grab a drink with and do that. They're great people. And those are the people that you build those relationships with. And it's that I tip of the hat to those people that do that job because I could not do that job. Running the board for directing and producing and things like that is just such a niche thing, and it's very challenging. But working with FTB, it was so cool, man, so cool. Growing up watching baseball, and now I'm working with AJ Przynski and Scott, and dude, it was just unreal. Used to watch Scott all the time on MLB Network growing up. He used to be their main reporter out there. And now I'm working with this guy, and I'm just getting to pick their brain about the industry. And then Przynski, goodness gracious, man. Worked 13-year career, I think it was, in Major League Baseball, maybe longer. He'd kill me if I got that wrong. But But he's man, it's just crazy that you get to work with these guys. And not only am I picking the industry part from Scott, and he just, man, he was so helpful. They all were. They really were. There were so many people behind the scenes that really helped me get to where I was. And man, I off the top of my head, I cannot remember his name. But the main, I guess you guys work closely with him with getting the interns. I don't know if he's still there, but I believe he's kind of like the director of FTV or not FTV, Foul
All
Territory.
territory, yeah.
Um, yeah, I can't remember off the top of my head what his name was. But man, super helpful and was so willing to help me, not just in this, in with the internship, but with the job force as a whole. Was so ready to, be person that, hey, if you need to ever have someone be as a resume person to call out to, and just, he was awesome. They're so helpful, but it's live. This isn't this isn't like being at school where everything is just recorded and it's for projects. I'm helping do live television currently being watched by people all over the country, and man, just an experience unlike anything else really is because you get to firsthand see what it's like to dig in with the pros and all these different people that they have come on the show. It's just crazy, man. Ken Rosenthal is a big part of that as well, and Rosenthal has been in the industry for a long time. The bow tie, Captain Bowtie, another guy I used to watch growing up, and now I'm working with him, and I don't know, man. And all the guests they had on, all these players that I watched all the time, and now here they are right in front of me being interviewed, and I'm just like, it's incredible. It's incredible. It really is. And it's something that I took with me, moving forward, and proudly took it forward with me, saying that I was one of the first to go with Foul Territory and be a part of that. And dude, AJ Przizinski, you get to, I don't know if they still do this, they probably don't, but I physically drove to the coordinates of AJ Przizinski's home, where he lived, in a giant gated community. You had to scan in, face scan, all this good jazz, and get in there and go to his giant house and go to where the show was and his room where he's got signed jerseys, baseballs, all of his career stuff, and just, oh, dude, it's just crazy. It's crazy just being a part of that. Almost like pinch yourself at some point, like you're working with guys that you grew up with watching, and it's an incredible thing. But Foul Territory
Yeah.
is awesome. It's
Why
awesome.
wouldn't you say yes to that, right? Anybody who's watching as a current student, two opportunities he said yes to, and they really helped him in so many ways moving forward. But as we noted, you're an on-air guy, and I want to finish our chat about the full sale side of things with your final day of on-air performing, right? And two questions about that. We'll start with your own. You and Cam Jenkins, I believe, worked together for a show, the D&D, I want to call it, Detroit and Dallas, or Dallas and Detroit. I
Yes,
don't know
sir.
which went first, but what was it like putting everything together for something that was fun for both of you?
Oh man, that was the most. I can't even describe it, man. It was the most surreal and most fun thing that we did because all of us, we were scared to do the wrong thing because this is the final project for PNP 7. We want to make sure that we get it knocked out. So we all got together in that conference room right down from where the station is or the studio is at Full Sail. And we stayed up till like 4 a.m. just putting these shows together, running through it, reading it, hitting play, cutting video, making sure everything was good to go, and did a whole show with just the two of us. And I think it's a 20-minute show. If you do two people, it's a 20-minute
It
show.
was,
Is that
yeah.
how it?
Hmm.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, man. Just so much fun. So much fun. Um, Getting to just direct where everything is going, make your own show, make your own path. And then, man, Cam Jenkins is so much fun to work with. He is a fun human being. I know he works with the WWE's version of I can't remember what it's called. I can't,
NXT?
you would know better. NXT. Yes, NXT. He's one of their main, like he kind of like runs the show over there, man. Like they love him over there and they should. Cam Jenkins is one of the best. Of course, being that his last name is Jenkins, we called him Old Man. Everybody had a nickname. So he's Cam the Old Man Jenkins because his knees were bad and he's an older man, and it was incredible. But uh, just awesome, awesome experience getting to do that with him. And then, at the end of it, when you get to say your final goodbyes and thank you to Full Sail and stuff, and then hearing his journey, he was 26, I think, when he was in the program, 26 or 27. And he talked about his journey with, going through cancer and getting through that and coming out on top. And he's such an inspiration to all of us, and he continues to be. And in a weird way, he's become some sort of a mentor to me. Just not, and I'm not even talking like sports, life, like just a life mentor, someone that I can talk to, and they know my heart, I know theirs, I know his, and we get together and talk about really heavy hitting things, and we learn and we grow together. And that doing that final show could not have been more honored to have done that with Cam Jenkins. Just an incredible time. But man, that show had us scared. We knew Rishi grades hard, so we have to get in here and get after it and know our stuff and get that show ready to go. But man, what a blast, and get just so much fun. But man, my show and his show was fun. The D&D, the Dallas and Detroit, it was a lot of fun. We did the Hollywood character comparison to an NHL playoff team, and I thought that was really fun to do. And then you do my favorite that I always did. I think it started in PNP 4 or 5, somewhere in there. Was my spin the wheel segment. You
Oh
spin the
yeah, that was
wheel
great. Yeah.
and see what comes up, and then you do a whole spiel about who pops up. And we did that, and then but Carlos and
Yeah,
Jackson
let
Faulkner.
me ask you about that right now. So, and that's my final question about Full Sail is you all as a class essentially it was Carlos and Jackson's show, but ultimately they kind of included everybody, right? And
Yeah.
you not only got to do your own final, you spent time helping them on theirs, and that provided you the opportunity to be an actor and play, I think, several roles. Were you Will Levis? I can't remember everybody you were, but what was it like being part of that final as a class where all of you guys meant so much to each other?
It was, man, if you want to talk about a final chapter of all final chapters, that was it. Like after everything that we had done outside of Full Sail, all the joy, all the laughter, all the time spent together, doing that final project and having Carlos and Jackson's show go last, and all of us be a part of that in some fashion where we're all pretending to be a certain top 10 draft pick and family members around them. God, dude, that was so awesome. That was so awesome. I was not Will Levis. That was Ryan Coolidge.
Ah,
Ryan Coolidge, he did the because he was the Mayo man,
yeah.
right?
Who
And
were you?
so we would shoot, they would shoot the part where we're sitting down, we're getting the call, and then we would hug our mom and our dad, who's played by one of the guys from the group, We'll exchange different people, and then when it came Coolidge's time to be Will Levis, and he got drafted. You would do that, and then we would also film the part where how ESPN does, where they will showcase a player, talk about it, show him hugging his family, and then immediately cut to them on a promo that they shot where they're flexing or they're doing this thing and they're like pointing at the camera and stuff like that. Well, Coolidge's was gonna do mayonnaise, so we're all waiting, and so he goes, "Yeah, let's go," and then he just pops a thing of mayo and just squirts it in his mouth. He goes, "Let's go." I threw up, dude. That is so gross. I could not do that. But so much fun, man. So much fun. It just was an incredible time getting to do that with them, and I can't even. There's so many things. I don't remember all the characters and all the draft picks that we did. I can't remember who was who, but I remember how fun it was, and I remember how impactful and meaningful it was. I don't know if you guys still have this happening in PNP 7, but um, we as a class decided, you know what, we're gonna set out our chairs in the studio, and after every stinking show, we're gonna get up and celebrate. Like, yeah, man, that was freaking awesome. Like, and we supported each other. Huge supporting cast. Again, the family. That is my second family. Those guys are my second family, and we built that with each other at that program. And that last with Jackson and Carlos, that was fun. That was really really fun.
Well, now you're doing it for real and they're paying you. So what's it like living the dream for you now?
Uh, Well, I get to do Texas high school football, which is king. It is just absolute king. Something that I was always so intertwined with growing up was Texas high school football, and now I get to do that. You know, talking to coaches, talking to players, wondering where they're going to go for college. I mean, man, a laundry list of things that I get to do for a living that it's just crazy to think about. Like my job is to get up, go interview a coach, travel across Southeast Texas, and get to know everything about them, where they've come from, who they've taught, who they've coached, and then you get to talk to the players who are going to, some of them have gone on to go play for SEC schools, and some of them have gone on to play for, I mean, it's just crazy, man. And building those relationships is awesome. But that show that we do for Texas high school football, the Blitz and everything, um, it is literally PNP 7's final show, but live television. And it's every Friday night. And it is the most fun that I've had, and not just in my career, but one of the most fun things I've ever done in my life, because you're getting to be on live television talking about these local games, talking about these local sports. And then on top of that, you're learning on the go. As these games, as these scores are coming in, people in production are putting it into the system, and it's popping up on your screen. And me and my sports director, Brandon Roddy, I only got to do really one show with him, but I've been doing it with Nick Canizales down there, and he's been in the industry for a long time. Good friend of mine now, and we just bounce back and forth. Our chemistry is great because we do hang out outside of work, so that you build that chemistry outside of work, and doing it on camera, it shows, and we get to react as well as Southeast Texas. You know, like we're reacting to these scores just as anyone else would watching it on TV. You know, like wow, huge upset tonight. You know, West Hardin overcame Cleveland Tarkington by a score of this to this. What a crazy upset. Cleveland Tarkington, that wouldn't be an upset. They're bad this year. They're so bad. But there's so many things that go into it, man. And but the most fun I think I could say is getting to, if your team makes it, if one of your local teams, and we have three right now that I think that could make it this far, but there's 6 rounds of Texas high school football playoffs in the UIL in each division. And if your team makes it to that final stage, if they make it to state, that team eventually goes and plays for the state championship, but they play it at AT&T Stadium. They
Wow.
play it
That's
at
awesome.
Jerry World. Yeah, so you get to go to AT&T Stadium, home of the Dallas Cowboys, and I step foot on the field, and I'm filming the game on the field, doing my stand up on the field, and step like you're walking. I don't know, just it's an
That's amazing.
incredible time. I've been to NRG Stadium as well. They do playoff games at NRG Stadium, like mostly further into the rounds that they go. And so you do that, and man, just the things and the places that I've seen. But one in particular, I think if I could say anything, would be the national championship that happened a couple years ago. Washington and Michigan. They played at Energy Stadium in Houston, Texas. And obviously, how that works is they give credentials to local people first, and then they give it to the people from the respective places where they're coming in. So Michigan and Washington, like Seattle, they'll let them come in, and we got approved. Beaumont is an hour, 45 minutes to an hour away from Houston, very, very close to Houston. And we got the credential for that, and we got to go. And I it was my off day, so I wasn't working, and none of our team. We were really going to cover it if Texas was in there, but they got beat by Washington, so they didn't make it, and so there was no reason for 12 News to be there to do that really. So it was kind of a throwaway. But I had my credential to go on the sideline at the national championship, and I'm not, and it's my off day. I'm like, I'm absolutely going,
Yeah, of
you
course.
know? And so I did. And it was, I got to do a stand up, and I'm going to definitely put it on my current reel to wherever else I'm going to go. And I'm in the middle of NRG Stadium with Pat McAfee walking around behind me, and Michigan players and whoever else, confetti's falling, and the trophy is being held up, and Reese Davis is giving the trophy to maybe it was Chris Fowler. It's Chris Fowler or Reese Davis, one of the two, that was giving the trophy to Michigan, and got Jim Harbaugh out there. Man, I didn't get to interview anybody. It was kind of, well, I say that. I did get to interview. I got to the press conference post game, and I'm standing 20 yards away from JJ McCarthy and Coach Harbaugh and the running back for the
Blake
Rams,
Corum.
Blake Corum. Yeah, Blake Corum. Getting to see all those guys, and that was really cool. But afterwards, you could do one-on-ones if they were available, right? If they had, because they had certain kiosks set up for different media outlets to go up, and in one room off to the side, it was in a different room. They had like 5 or 6 Michigan players. It was Colston Loveland, and go over there. No one's over there talking to him, and he. We got to talking, and he was his shirt said if I recall correctly, it was Jesus has won or something like that, or Jesus won, I think is what his shirt was. And I talked to him about the shirt, obviously, but I talked to him about his impact in the game as well, man. It was weird seeing nobody around him because at the time for that game, he had caught a huge pass over the middle that like Michigan's offense was stifled by Washington's defense for the majority of the game. And then finally they broke through, giving it to Loveland, and he just barreled through the defense and got into the red zone to help Michigan score what would be their first touchdown of the game. So he was a big factor, huge factor in winning that championship, and no one's there talking to him. It was so weird. And so I'm one-on-one talking to Colston Loveland, and now he just did exactly what I described him doing in the national championship game just this last weekend against, I think it was the Bengals, where Williams threw over the middle, and he's bouncing off dudes and found his way into the end zone, and they ended up winning the game. And I'm like, dude, I know that guy. I got to interview that guy.
I tell you what, I'll never forget that.
Fun, man.
As a Bears fan, I'll never forget that moment this weekend watching him, and it's so cool you got that opportunity. And you've gotten the opportunity to do some really cool things at work. And one of them was a series that they had going into the Olympic Games. They called it Olympic Hopeless, not Olympic Hopefuls, Olympic Hopeless. And I'm going to play a clip of this right now, and then we're going to break it down. But this is going to be a clip of you doing Taekwondo. So I'll play it for the audience, and then Pep and I will break it down. So here is the great Holton Pepper doing a little Taekwondo for you.
Sponsored by Brody Roofing.
Our very own Olympic Hopeless 12 News sports reporter Holton Pepper. Well, he's trying his best, and his first Olympic-sized attempt is at karate. Take a look, and remember, everybody loves an underdog.
With the many different Olympic competitions needing extensive training and focus, one could argue that none need more focus than the art of Taekwondo. An art that originated in Korea somehow found its way to Beaumont, and now some guy who has never kicked someone in his life is headed to the dojo.
My name's David Howes. I'm an 8th degree black belt, and I'm the owner of Tiger Rock Martial Arts in Beaumont and of Orange.
What is it exactly that we're going to be learning today?
So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do the palm heel strike. The idea is that if I put my hands on you, I get close to you, I have bad intentions, you're going to stun and run. So you're going to hit the target with the heel of your hand, then we're going to smash a board, and then we're going to do a front kick.
All right, let's do it.
Remember, you got to penetrate that board by at least 3 inches. Right. So you're going to move from your back foot to your front foot, and then fire through.
All right.
There you go. You hear that? Nice. Ready? One more. So your knee points, your foot fires.
Okay. Oh, this is going to be bad.
That was it. That was
okay.
It. 2, 3. That looks great, except you're not wearing the correct uniform.
Okay. Okay, all right, I got the wardrobe, and you told me before that like a full-grown adult can break 2 boards, and hopefully I can just break 1.
You got this.
Okay.
So we're gonna do a palm heel strike. Okay. So imagine you're hitting that bad guy right in the bridge of the nose, okay? All right. So just size it up.
Okay, all right.
Size it up, feel that slow motion, just, there you go, right where you want it, and then you're gonna hit it, you're gonna yell. Ah.
All right, you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Ah, oh yeah, baby, we are here all day. Oh yeah.
You ready?
Nope, let's do it.
Inhale, inhale, focus, hit it.
Oh my God. Woo! Grade me at like 1 through 10, what do you think?
You're a good student, you're a good listener. We decided that you're worthy of a gold medal.
Well, there we go.
So, congratulations.
We'll wear it like a crown.
Oh.
Yeah, there we go. It'll work.
You got a bigger head than you look like.
Well,
There you go.
I hear that all the time.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you,
Great
sir.
job. You're a pleasure having you as a student.
And I thank you. I thank you. This was an awesome day and an awesome experience, and definitely helped my self-esteem today. I can tell you that much.
Now remember, always use it for good.
Always for good, with a little bit of evil.
Exactly.
All right, all right. Okay, hey, not as bad. Definitely could have went a lot worse and possibly walk out of there with my arm in a cast. Right in the groin. And thank God I didn't have to face competition today. The wood was hard enough.
You broke a couple of boards there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to play this and you can just kind of talk over it, but just take us through what it was like putting this together. So here we go.
Well, this was an idea that my his name is Kevin Rice. He is now he kind of works behind. He's been behind the scenes, but he was one of our main directors and kind of helped do some of those things with putting this together. It was his idea, and because he saw potential with a kid who is just out there trying to make it, and he's like, I think Holton would be perfect for this, and I think we can just get the sports guy to go out there and do all these crazy things. And I was like, okay, like, yeah, I'll be your test dummy for all this, whatever. And this was the first one. Taekwondo was the official first Olympic hopeless. So everything you're seeing, I give all credit. This no credit goes to me. I give all the credit in the world to the guys behind the scene. Zach used to work there. He was kind of with the camera filming everything as I'm walking in. All the shots of me like putting this stuff on, he did those. And Kevin orchestrated everything. Like he would go in there and put everything together. Oh, Sam, he used to work at 12 News. He was working with the lighting. He'd make sure the lighting looked good. It was a whole production thing. He put it together and just asked me if I wanted to do it. I was like, absolutely, man. Like let's go, let's do it. And this was me learning. Like this was me trying to figure out how. And he's teaching me here how I'm supposed to kick. And I'm thinking to myself as I'm doing this, I'm like, first of all, I know I look goofy as all get out doing this. And second of all, there's no way I'm cracking a board. I've seen it done before. There's no way this is happening. And then he made me mad. Because then he told me that, well, I've seen full-grown adults, be able to get through a board. And then I've seen 7-year-old children get through these boards. And I was like, okay. I said, I can do it. I can get it, no problem. And what you're seeing right now is my first attempt at getting through that first board. I hadn't tried it off camera. We're doing it live, right? And I said, you ready? And then that is a true authentic reaction right there. Like I was pumped, man. Could not believe it. And this kick, never in my mind did I think I'd get this one. And first kick, also a genuine reaction. Yeah, I was having so much fun, man. It genuinely was super fun. Give that sensei some credit too, man. He is incredible. And clearly not from here. The guy is from Australia, and I got to learn a lot from him. I never went back. I never went and took classes, but that was the first official one. We did 5 total. We did swimming, archery, and what was the third? What was the fourth one? I can't remember. Oh, rock wall climbing, and then it was breakdancing. So there was a bunch of them. Anything from your normal Olympic events, like stuff like this, and then archery, and then your wacky stuff like breakdancing and rock wall climbing. Didn't know that was an Olympic event. But man, so much fun doing that. So much fun doing that. I know I said that a ton over talking with you. I feel like a broken record saying, man, I just had so much fun.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about. And what I appreciated with you, I watched the clips of all 5 of them, and what I appreciated about it was there's an art to it. If you're going to do a reporter involvement story, it's not just about you, right? The story's not about you, the story's about the sport, and you did an excellent job of putting your personality into it to make it entertaining and bring it to life, with not having a problem with a little self-deprecating humor, which always goes well in these type of pieces. And then finally, you worked in what the sport is all about, and you worked that in there because that's really the heart of what you're trying to do. You're just trying to do it in an entertaining way. So excellent work. Your work has been great so far. Everything you're doing in Beaumont, and it's time for the final big question here, Holton. What is your dream for where your future is leading you in this business?
Ah, man. It's hard to say. I don't know where things are going to take, because I don't think I could tell you where I was going to be at Full Sail. Like, I couldn't tell you. I know what I wanted to do. I know where I wanted to be, but I didn't know where it was going to take me. I had no idea. And so you can have these dreams and aspirations, like talking to ESPN and stuff like that, but no one's really ready for ESPN. No one's ready to do those kinds of things. You have to be at these local markets and excel where you're at right now. Dan Patrick said something months ago. I jumped in on a Zoom call that he was a part of, and got to talk with him again, which was awesome. But he said something that was just so. I've carried it with me through being my time here at 12 News, and he relayed our career path a lot to minor league baseball players, and potential pro, like backup running backs and different leagues, backup basketball players, stuff like that. Like guys that aren't starters, guys that aren't wanting to be where they're supposed to be yet, and just kind of playing with where they're at right now. And that was so key for me, because he said, "What are they doing right now?" And everyone's kind of like, "Oh, they're just playing their game." It's like he is excelling and doing everything he can where he's at right now. He wants to go 3 for 4 every game. He wants to shoot the lights out at the gym every single game. He wants to run that middle linebacker over every single time they're at practice. So every time he gets an opportunity, he's going to excel at it. So just because you're at a lower market, just because you're not where you want to be, excel where you are at, because your opportunity, you never know who's looking. You never know what opportunities can come from it. So I know that WFAA is the big one in Dallas. I would love to be part of that team as well. You get to cover, my favorite teams growing up. You get to talk about the Rangers. You get to talk about the Cowboys. Probably throw in some Longhorns. I know that's more Austin, but do those kinds of things. But if you get an opportunity to work with ESPN, I would love to do that as well. And it's funny, a lot of people down there in Beaumont, they tell me all the time, that they're like, "Well, hey, we're gonna enjoy it while we have you." And I'm like, "What does that mean? Like, what do you mean?" It's like you're not gonna be here after a while. Like you're gonna go on, you're gonna do other things. And some of the head coaches, one in particular, Coach Chuck Langston, he's the head coach at Westbrook High School there in Beaumont, 5A program, good football program. And he used to play football at Oklahoma. He was a lineman at Oklahoma, and he's a graduate of the Bruins. And every time I interview him, he's just a great man, a great human being. And I talk to him all the time. And every time he always tells me that, he says, you've got where you need to be. You're a God-fearing man, and you're going where you want to go, and you're staying focused. You're a focused young man, and you're continue to do what you're doing. So for me, I'm open to it all, man. I would love any opportunity that gets me out there on the sidelines to talk football, to talk baseball. I'm for it. Because right now, through my first job, I have understood the invaluable essence of where you are, and understanding no step is a bad step. You've always got to take a step to move forward, whether you stumble, whether things don't go the way they're supposed to. You learn from those experiences and you build for the futures. It is absolutely the truth.
I like to end with what we call the dream sequence, 3 quick fire questions for you so that you can share whatever is kind of on the top of your head. You ready for that?
Let's do it. I'm ready.
First one, dream story with reporter involvement. You showed me through this Olympic Hopeless series that you can get the gear on, get in the dirty, but any story involving reporter important, what would be the dream scenario for you?
I would love to have the job of, what's her name? Molly McGrath at ESPN, where as soon as the game is over, sprint. You got to sprint onto the field, beat the crowd. You just had a big upset in college football, right? The kids are pouring over the stands. Everyone's running out onto the field. I want to run right there with them. I want to burn past them and just use look, I'm in the gym, man. I'm in the gym. So I want to show off my skills in those scenarios where I can get after these kids and they'd be like, dang, like, look at this reporter, man. I'm chopping it, right? I'm headed over to Kirby Smart after Georgia gets a big win, and I run up on my coach, and grabbing him, ready. Yeah, that'd be fun. I'd love to do that.
All right, I love that. Dream charity event to host. We know you're a man of community. If there was a charity event that they wanted you to be the MC for, what would it be?
I've actually done one of those before already. And it was for it was not well planned. That's not on my part though. But if I could do like a dream charity and do something like that, I think it would be in the avenue of like kids that don't have a sense of direction, not necessarily a sense of direction, but like don't have the necessities to get to where they want to be. I think a kid, every kid has the opportunity to be something fantastic. They have the opportunity to be something incredible, and they have the untapped potential, right? They just need the qualities. They just need the things to set themselves up. I want to get to a place where I'm financially stable enough to give. I love giving. I love being able to give, and give people an opportunity, because the only reason where I'm at right now is because of people who sowed into my life, who gave to me, and I want to give back. I want to give to people that may not have opportunities like I did, growing up.
Finally, favorite dream faith-based sporting promotion. They're going to get you involved, but it's going to be at a sporting event, but it's faith-based. What would you do?
Yeah, I've never had that question asked before. I, man, I mean, I'm all for it. I'm doing it. I'm absolutely doing it. Because like, if you're gonna go up here and you're gonna go around the nation and you're gonna do things and you're gonna have a lot of fun, you're gonna show your face and wow, there's Holton Pepper. There he is. And like, it doesn't matter. None of this is possible. And my identity is not in this. My identity is in Christ. So it doesn't matter. I'm always going to put him forward, and I'm going to give a chance to shout him out and give him the praise that he is so deserving of every single time. So if there's a banquet and stuff like that that's happening with faith-based, I'm there. I'm going to MC it. I'm going to do what I can and help grow that, and any way that I can, man, because that is the most important thing is to have your faith well rooted and have a great foundation with your faith, because that is the part that's unshakable the most, and that's going to lead you to where you want to be. So I will continue to be unashamed in that, and unashamed in sharing the gospel, even though I am a sinner and I am not a perfect man, and I do sin every single day and every single hour of the day. I make mistakes all of the time, but God's grace is above all of that, and pursuing him is the most beautiful thing that you could possibly do and the greatest decision you can make as a human being. So I will always be willing to go give that.
Wow, what a great conversation. I do want to apologize. There were a few internet glitches over the course of this episode, but it's been amazing content from Holton Pepper. We know how invested he is, and we love that we got to share his story today. And Holton, I want to thank you for everything that you gave us, the advice, the memories, all of that. He's living his dream. All of you, keep living yours too.